Hey everyone, welcome back to part 3 of my mediumship marathon in Mendocino and my favorite insights that I've gained from doing all those readings in a short period of time. So we've made it to the last final sort of general topic that seemed to come up a lot in my readings. There's always a lot of obviously very specific things that happened in readings and are very specific to clients' lives, but then there's always these general topics that come up that really have a lot to do with everybody, and that anybody can benefit from this information. So I'd love to share this last part with you because I think it's really important, and it has everything to do with who we are outside of our lives, you can say, or outside of our role that we play in all of our relationships, because that's really what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. Is we really are playing, wife, mother, sister, even just friend or customer. We are playing different roles in each one of these relationships, right? Just for an easy example, we would probably tell our best friend something much more private than we would tell the lady checking us out at the grocery store, right? So we're always sort of changing ourselves in regards to which situation we're in and which relationship we are interacting with. Now, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing, right? It's important that we develop healthy relationships, and part of healthy relationships involve compromise and seeing other people's points of views and all that great stuff, right? However, one of the things that the relatives were really emphasizing was that outside of our relationships and outside of our world, we still have the role of ourselves, us. The way that we feel about certain situations, the way that we feel about certain people or relationships in our lives, the way that we feel, that doesn't generally tend to get enough acknowledgement or attention towards. So basically what they were saying is we tend to lose sight of who we really are and how we're really feeling, because we're constantly taking into consideration how this person might feel about the way that we feel, right? This happens a lot in marriage. But part of well-being and part of health, whether it be mental or physical, because they're one and the same, is that we should be allowed to feel a certain way without worrying about what sort of implication that might have, right? That's why therapy is great for a lot of people, because people know that in therapy you really can say pretty much anything that you want, and it's supposed to be with somebody that is completely impartial and is not going to judge you for the way that you feel. However, even in therapy, there's always going to be a part of you that is going to feel a little hesitant to really tell somebody your deepest, darkest feelings about a topic. So it would be more beneficial in times that you are alone, whether that is within meditation. Meditation is a great time for this, but if that's something that doesn't fit into your life, it could be something as small as when you are driving to work, or whenever you have 5 or 10 minutes to yourself where you can really go inward and acknowledge how you're feeling about all kinds of things. Because a lot of people tend to run away from those types of emotions because a lot of the times they're not correct, or they're not politically the right way to think, or they're you surprise yourself sometimes in the thoughts that go through your mind, or the way that you think about something. But the truth of the matter is that those feelings exist not to tell you that you're not a good person, not to show you that the way that you're thinking is skewed. They're actually there to give you deeper insight into who you really are and how much of yourself you are giving away to other people by only playing the roles in your life and never really playing the role of just you. So I'll give you an example really quick. And maybe I've brought this up before, but I tried doing EMDR. I don't know if any of you have heard of it. It's a trauma-based type therapy. You don't have to talk. It's basically, they figured out a way to stimulate your right and left brain in a way that takes what's supposed to be something that happened in the past and put it in that place in your brain, rather than operating from a place of this, let's say, traumatic event still happening today, and we're sort of still in that mindset, or this fight or flight response, right? So I'm an actor, I'm a dancer, I'm a very creative person. I've been in therapy since I was 15 years old. I've always considered myself somebody that is pretty in tune with the way that I feel and not afraid to acknowledge that. And so I was doing this EMDR, and what came up during this particular session was the events and the people surrounding the death of my little brother. So my little brother was killed by somebody, and it was made to look like an accident, and I'm aware now of exactly what happened, but at the time it was just very suspicious, and it was sort of ruled as an accident at the time. So this was starting to come up in my EMDR, and it's not something that you consciously think about. It's just you allow your brain to open up and really get a good glimpse of what's going on inside of you, and your feelings on a deep level. And one thing that I was really unaware of was just how deep-seated this rage that I had was. I mean, I knew I was angry. Obviously, I was angry. But what I didn't ever realize was that I felt that this situation attracted what felt like complete and utter vultures who came in and completely took advantage of this absolutely heartbreaking, tragic situation that ultimately split my entire family up into a million pieces, and we still are picking the pieces up. But that's not something that I really knew was inside of me. So I thought that was extremely insightful, and it made a lot of sense to me, and it made a lot of sense of why I sometimes operate the way that I do. It really gives us the opportunity to acknowledge and just let that be. We don't have to do anything about it. I didn't have to do anything about this deep-seated rage. We don't put enough weight on a simple acknowledgement to ourselves of how we're feeling without any sort of concern or worry about how somebody else feels about our feelings. I would say, now that I understand this concept, that this is at the top of physical and mental well-being. Our bodies are constantly trying to communicate with us, and they are so much smarter than our logic. They really know and have absorbed and have cellular memory about everything that we've experienced in our lives. So it's so important to just take a couple of minutes whenever you can, or as much time as you can, and really just, you don't have to think about anything in particular, but really just allow yourself to open up and see what comes up. And you know what? The feelings might be a little frightening. They might take you by surprise. The most important thing is not to judge what comes up, because the acknowledgement of that feeling is not only healing that event or that relationship or that memory, but it is also giving ourselves permission to be who we are. And we are so much more than the roles that we play in our lives on a day-to-day basis. We have to give just as much acknowledgement and respect and understanding to our own thoughts and feelings than we do to all the other people in our lives. Once you do that, you're going to find that it's going to give you a boost of confidence, because all of a sudden you're going to feel like that child that got really upset about something. Maybe it wasn't rational. Maybe they completely, in the parent's eyes, overreacted, but all the child really wanted was an acknowledgement that they were upset, or there's something that really bothered them. And you'll find that when children are acting up and you give them that acknowledgement, that those big feelings will subside. So that doesn't go away. That stays with us for the rest of our lives into our adulthood. And I really encourage you guys to take some time and find that acknowledgement for yourself. That was a really big topic that came up in these readings, and I think it's a powerful one. So make sure to comment if you want. I love interacting with you guys and talking about these things. You know, like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos. And let me know if you guys have your own experiences with any of these topics that come up. All right, I hope everyone has a beautiful, safe, amazing, lovely day. Aloha.